back doing Hare Scramble racing here at Fox Valley Off-Road. Today is their Father's Day Hare Scramble, so it is the second round in their off-road season, and it's been a long time since we've done a Hare Scramble. The last one we did was last October, that was roughly 7 months ago, and we only lasted about 20 minutes in that race before my bike gave out. Before that, it's been over 2 years probably since I've done my last Hare Scramble, so it's been a long time coming, but today we're trying to keep the expectations realistic, and I'm really just here to ride some marked trails. I'm not trying to be competitive. I'm just trying to ride and get better as the day goes on. So with that, we're racing the 201 to Open C class, and there are 24 other riders in the class today. Alright, dead engine start. Here we go. So I didn't even try to start in gear here, just wanted to hang back, not get in anyone's way in case I did get a good start. So we're starting from the back, and we'll see how we work our way up. So it's not very long before we get to our first bottleneck here. And my race instincts start to kick in. I don't want to sit around for too long. So making a few passes, we just have this uphill. There's some roots in the middle of the hill, or on the middle of the hill, that people are getting hung up on. I decide, you know what, let's just ride around it. The 300 can get up hills very easily with almost no momentum going into it, so I rode the clutch way too much going up that hill, but end up getting up the hill with no problem, made a few passes, so that was pretty exciting. They said today was Hill Day, and it was one of the more technical tracks that they have for the year, and that was definitely true. So I got my money's worth for a workout today for my first race of the year. It was good practice, though. We'll see more of the track as the video goes along, but it was really technical, and there were quite a few hills. Off the bat here, I felt like I had a decent pace. I was keeping up with people. See, it's really dusty. I don't think it rained at all going into the week of the race, so it was super dusty, and you'll see on my gear we start getting a layer of dust on it as the race goes along, but I'm I'm revving at people. I'm excited. I'm yelling, trying to get around. I get around one guy right here, but I feel like I'm way too excited off the start of the race, and that kind of hurts me as we go along. But it is nice to see that I'm making some passes. So we come out into scoring, and you'll see I do not go over the log. Last year I always went over the log. This year uh, I'm not, and a lot of people are not because they really changed up the log. And now, even in the afternoon race I was watching, and people were struggling to get over it. So it's a lot more difficult now. So until it gets groomed in, I'm probably just going to go around it. I'd rather lose potentially a few seconds going around it than lose maybe 30 seconds getting stuck on it and trying to get over it. We come to the single track section where I ride at Fox Valley. This is a section I always like to ride through. It's pretty fun, pretty flowy. So they generally have this in the Hare Scrambles, and they had it today. Then we have, this isn't really much of a bottleneck, but there's a rider pulled over right here, and then we're kind of just congested coming up this hill. I learn as the day goes along, but the first few laps here, I rode the clutch just a little too much, or more than I would be comfortable with watching the video back, going up the hills, and I really tried to not ride the clutch, learning from Adelissa and even the Summer Bummer Sprint Enduro last year, where that the Summer Bummer is probably where I burnt out my clutch, but trying not to do that today. We come up this hill and we come to our second bottleneck. This is a kind of open uphill that comes down into a single track downhill. Things clear up a little bit, make a few passes right here, but you can see this is kind of tight, and the GoPro doesn't really do justice, but it was very steep as well. We end up making it down, so get through that with little issue, just hung up by the bottleneck for a few seconds. It cleared up fairly quick. We have an uphill here. There was a guy off to the side that ended up getting stuck, another guy off to the side right there. So I felt like the first few laps here, we did a fairly good job. We need to focus on the long game, though. This is an hour and a half race, and we'll see mistakes start to pile up. Rider stuck off to the side there, must have washed the bike out or something, but yeah, you can definitely see we had a few hills to work with today. I'm definitely going to keep a video of a full lap for my own reference, so when I come and ride at Fox Valley next time, I can try and ride sections of this track and really work on getting better in some sections and work on endurance too. Come out to scoring. So that first section, or the first time through scoring, we only did half a lap, but we did go through scoring, and that did count. So we finished our first full lap now, but technically we're moving on to lap number 3. Got a rider pulled off to the side on this section here. So this is right after the single track section. Made a pass in this area last time, made 2 passes this lap. We're actually, no, 2. That was just a spectator at the top there. Starting to get tired now. You can kind of see I really went down that downhill very slowly, and I also lost a lot of strength in my hands, so I could barely hold the clutch in, and I ended up stalling the bike on the downhill. If I went a little bit faster, I would not have stalled, but I was going slow, so I needed to hold the clutch in, and that was a mistake. And I'm not paying attention here, and I try going up. I go around the caution tape accidentally, but get back on the course. I lost time there. I didn't gain any time, so I don't think going around the caution tape was bad. And also, I didn't break the caution tape. Now on that downhill for the single track there, I did stall my bike, but I got it running again just by doing a jump start. Here, coming on to the enduro cross section, it's been a week since this race, and I'm still mad about this. I don't know how I thought I was going to get over that tire at that angle with no momentum, but I tried, and I lost time as a result. So yeah, as the race is going along, we are making more and more mistakes. This is the type of stuff you want to avoid in races. Got Nick at Squatch Photography off to. We got Nick at Squatch Photography off to the side. Can hardly talk right now, but he took some awesome pictures today, so thanks for that, Nick. Now we're starting to struggle, and the frustrating thing for me during the race, I know I was just riding, but I mean, the second the green flag dropped, the competitive nature in me wanted to be a little bit more competitive, but for me the frustrating thing was I felt like I could ride faster. The entire race I felt like I could be going quite a bit faster than what I was, but just due to lack of fitness and inability for keeping up with the endurance, I was just too tired to actually ride faster. So that's something we definitely need to work on. Coming into scoring here, finishing up the third lap. We got a few lappers coming through. Now moving on to lap number 4. Didn't show this section yet right after the finish line, so we'll show this entire section. It's pretty fun. One of the faster sections for the day. An area where you could get a little bit of a break from the hills. End up stalling my bike again here. I've stalled my bike quite a bit today. Some side hilling here before we get to some of the bigger hills. Overall, it was a really fun track. I had a lot of fun with today. Learned a lot too. Since this was the first Hare Scramble that I actually finished on the 300, this bike is awesome. I really like it. The thing I can't decide if I like or not is the hydraulic clutch. I'm used to the cable from my YZ250. And there I could actually make adjustments to the clutch, where here I guess the clutch is self-adjusting. So I don't know how I feel about that, because I like the clutch a specific way, and I guess I don't really know how to adjust it. If there is a way to adjust it, let me know in the comments. That would be really helpful. But also, I've been throwing around the idea of potentially getting a recluse in here, because I'm stalling a lot, and if I had a recluse in this and raced more Hare Scrambles, then this thing would be an absolute tank. Out scoring again, finish up lap number 4, moving on to lap number 5. So my range for lap times was anywhere between 15 and 17 minutes, which is around 4 to 5 minutes off pace from the leaders. So there's room for opportunity, but yeah, like I said, today is just for fun. Once again, we stall our bike, start going here, and get passed by Sleepy. He has a YouTube channel, and I'll link it right here, or maybe I'll link it in the description, but yeah, he races all the time, so I personally watch his videos quite a bit. Fun to watch. Another section we haven't yet shown, the second creek crossing here, moving to the lower section. This is the section I feel like I struggled most. It's definitely the section where it's like, yeah, I could definitely go faster, but just feeling so tired and exhausted, I didn't. rider stuck on one of the uphills here. Luckily they have an electric start or an e-start, it looks like, so they're able to get their bike running and push it up the hill. And then I'm able to get around them. So last couple of seconds, but it wasn't a big deal there. The hills definitely took a few people out. Here's another rider that crashed on this uphill, so make a second pass, so make 2 passes this lap. Stall my bike again on the downhill, trying to hold in the clutch. Maybe I should shift down a gear and use the engine braking instead, but trying to hold in the clutch and can't get the clutch all the way in, so instead the bike stalls. Towards the end of this lap, we have a good battle that actually develops here. So yeah, sure, I'm battling with this guy, but again, I'm just here to ride and also getting laps. Gotta let the lappers by, so compromise my battle to let those guys by, but the guy in front of me also lets him by, so didn't lose any time there. Still right on his tail. Woo! Come out into scoring here, and we're making our way to the final lap. We have a timer right after the scoring, so right off to the left there is a timer, and it had 14 minutes left. So I knew this was going to be my last lap and my last chance to get around the guy in front of me. He's not in my class, but still, we're around the same speed. We're having a battle, so let's have some fun with it. Since we didn't have to let around a few lappers, the guy on the KTM gapped me a little bit. This guy in front of me, he's on a Honda, but he is in the 30 plus C class. The 3 of us were roughly around the same speed, so we're all having a fun battle. I'm trying to catch this guy on the Honda and then eventually, hopefully, catch up to the guy on the KTM again. Yeah, if you look at my gloves, you can just see how much dust accumulated on them throughout the day. On the grass track section, we make up some time, and this is our opportunity to pass the guy on the Honda. So get around him. We got the downhill here. In the GPs, we usually go up this hill. And this was just a bunch of loose dust and very slippery going onto the MX track. But we were only on the MX track for a corner, and then we go immediately into the single track section. stalled my bike there, but I managed to get it running just by doing a jump start. I had to have stalled my bike at least 10 times throughout this race. Something to work on for sure. So we're going through the single track pretty good here, and we end up catching the guy in the KTM once again. So I yell. He looks behind, but ends up getting in front of me again because some lappers came through and don't show it on the video, but they get around, and I lost some time. There was a guy that was down right there off to the left. I'm not sure if that was the KTM guy. I don't think so, because I know later on in the video here we actually get around him again, but there was a guy down on that downhill. The hills really ate people up today. And this right here is the guy on the KTM. Crashes going on this uphill. There wasn't really a good spot to make the pass since he was bringing the bike up. But I do make the pass going up the hill here. So I do finally get around him. And some lappers, gotta pull over for them. Yeah, if you're getting lapped, just find a safe spot to pull over. Don't try and race them or keep them behind you. Just race them with some courtesy. That's my advice for the day.
Woo! Hey!
I honestly can't tell if this is the same KTM guy or not. I don't think he got back around me, but maybe this is a different guy wearing similar gear. Not sure, but regardless, we're getting to the last part of the last lap here, and I really want to get around this guy. So I'm yelling, I'm revving a little, well, not really revving, but more yelling. He pulls over to the side there, I get around him. All's well. Make a last lap pass. So, yeah, I mean, ultimately, I came here to ride for fun, ride some marked trails, get better as the day went on. I felt like I did that. Now, the middle of the race was not good because of how tired I was, but towards the end, I kind of got my second wind, and you could see the last few laps, I made a few passes, which is good in my eyes. So we have a bit to work on for sure. Endurance is the big thing, and also I got through all the obstacles and everything, all the hills with no problem. So just endurance, I think, is the big thing. Once we get the endurance down, then I think we'll be racing pretty well. So we come out to scoring here. Checkered flags out, so race is over. Made it the full hour and a half, maybe a little bit longer. Ended up doing 6 laps. I think 6, yeah. And I finished 19th of 24. So, yeah, result wasn't great, but I still had an awesome time. And I think that's going to be the strategy for this year. Coming to these races, not putting really any pressure on myself, just come, have fun, focus on riding the track, not racing other people, and maybe things will results will improve from just that strategy. So we'll see how it works out, but next race will be in July. Hope to see you then. Hoping to ride before then, but we'll see. Schedule's getting really busy with personal stuff in July, but regardless, yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.